At the beginning of the film, we see a girl named Jimo. She was seated next to a doctor. Actually, Jimo can perceive monsters that a common person can't see. Her mother has admitted her into a mental asylum because of this. Jimo's mom believes that her daughter has become insane. The doctor asked, "Do you still see the monster?" Jimo notices a small monster on the doctor's hand that was scratching the doctor's hand in the meantime. She says, "No, I don't perceive the monsters." She tells a lie. She said this because she wants to leave this asylum. The doctor believes Jimo has completely recovered. He permitted her to leave because of this. Jimo has begun working at a supermarket because her mother was admitted to the hospital because of a serious illness. While working at the supermarket one day, Jimo sees a monster there. And Jimo makes many errors in her work. The owner of the supermarket rebukes her as a result. He gives her the task of distributing the pamphlets outside as punishment. While distributing the pamphlets, she meets a man named Meng. Because he was a monster hunter and he was looking for a monster. We see his friend Paper, who is Meng's friend that helps him in his work. You can think of a paper in this sense as a person's best instrument, which helps him in his work. This paper was similar to this. This paper helps him in his every work. The interesting thing is that this paper speaks in human manners. We see Jimo was denying that there is no monster around, despite her rejection. Meng enters a supermarket with his paper. The three of them become stunned when they witness it, because there was a monster that was freezing everything. He was drawing a path on the paper to catch the monster. He sends the monster's paper to awake it from sleep. When the monster awakes the paper, the creature was attempting to grab the paper. The creature was being dragged there by the paper. There, Meng has drawn a magical path on paper. From there, he could send the monster in its world back. However, Meng has made a mistake. He hasn't completed the full circle of the magical path he's created. As a result, the monster was released. The creature then starts pursuing Meng and his paper. Meng nonetheless uses magic to transform the monster into a crystal. Jimo gets pleased after seeing this. Jim was happy to know that she isn't the only one in the world that can see the monsters, but there is someone else who can see the monsters as well. She asks many questions from Meng about this, but Meng remains silent. He then departs, but while leaving, he left the crystal in the supermarket. Jimo now has this crystal, and she takes it. Later, a woman is shown who was observing everything with her magic. She claims that she was looking for this girl. Actually, she was talking about Jimo. This lady sends her monster hunter to Jimo for calling her. We'll learn later what this lady needs from Jimo. We observe Jimo and the severe damage the man has made in the supermarket. Jimo was accused of everything. This news spreads quickly. Now that Jimo has lost her job, her house owner has kicked her out of the house. The owner believed that her madness hasn't ended up yet. Monsters are still visible to her. We also see Meng, the monster hunter. A girl comes to his house who used to buy monster crystals from him. Meng begins to find those monster crystals but couldn't find it because he had misplaced that crystal in the supermarket. He is giving the girl little crystals, but the girl just gives him a small sum of money in exchange for this. She claims that these crystals aren't really helpful for her. The girl now claims, while leaving, that when the door between monster and human will open this time, it will be your final way to obtain the crystal of your brother. He wouldn't be able to obtain the crystal if he couldn't find that. The girl then exits his home as he says this. On the other side, we see Jimo walking alone in the night. Jimo is suddenly attacked by some monsters. All of this was taking place close to Meng's house. He learns that there are monsters near his house as a result. He learns when he goes outside that Jimo is being chased by all of these monsters. He helps her because of this, and the monsters were many in numbers. Meng was unable to combat them because of this. Many more monster hunters start to show up in the meantime. They quickly kill all of those monsters because they have weapons stronger than Meng's for capturing Meng. All the monster hunters were also informing Meng about this because this is their area. He must never come here again. These all are monster hunters. They changed the monsters into crystals after that they used to sell them. Jim runs away from there and jumps into Meng's car. She gives him the crystal that she found at the supermarket. She also tells Meng her story along with this. Since she was a young child, she could see the monster. Her mother has sent her to a mental asylum because of this. Everyone believed I was crazy. I don't know why all of these monsters have turned into my lethal foes at this point. Meng says, I don't know anything about this. To your questions, I have no answers. However, I know about a man who can answer all of your questions. Meng brings Jimo to that man the next day. He possesses a body that was half lion and half man. It implies that man was a monster once, but he has evolved into a half-human after residing in the human world. He was explaining to Jimo that the worlds of people and monsters are quite different. The worlds mix up occasionally with each other. Monsters consequently enter the world of humans. The monster hunters transform them into crystals after killing them. Therefore, any human can use their powers. And you see monsters because you're a guardian. You're the next guardian of the world between monsters and humans. Soon, the gate will open within some days. You'll have all of your powers as soon as the gate opens. The man also tells the name of another woman. She is the first guardian, he says. And she doesn't want you to be the next guardian. He's referring to the same woman whom we first saw. The lady who wants to call Jimo to her. She can now take your powers. She doesn't want you to take her place. That's why that guardian from her monsters makes attacks on you. She'll try to kidnap you as time goes on. You'll start to get powers as soon as the gate opens. As a result of using these powers, you can become powerful. You'll be vigilant from that lady guardian till the gate opens. The man gives her 2 cards, and the one card was that she can play on the person she has a lot of faith in. The next card was that will help her in becoming invisible for 3 days. She plays the trust card on Meng because she solely trusts Meng this time. But this didn't make the man pleased. The man instructed Meng to keep Jimo with him. She is now your duty, and you will keep her with you. When Meng was taking Jimo home, we saw them trapped in a loop. It indicates that someone was casting magic on them, and the monster hunter was behind this all. That was sent by the guardian lady to bring Jimo. Meng and the monster hunter engage in a fierce battle here, but in the end, he manages to save Jimo and brings her to his home. After taking the invisible card from Jimo, placed it in his house. His house completely vanishes as a result of this dimension. They must stay hidden for 3 days. The next morning when Jimo wakes up, the paper tells her, the paper that Meng had about We Know That Can Speak. It tells that Meng wants to become a good monster hunter like his brother, because his brother was a good monster hunter. Jimo is saddened by learning about his brother. As time goes on, Jimo and Meng have solidified their friendship. One day Jimo gets a call informing her of her mother's poor health condition. The doctors were asking for an operation soon. They require Jimo's signature for this reason. After hearing this, Jim becomes very concerned. Meanwhile, a strange monster arrives there, and the paper tells. This monster delivers a person to their desired location where they wish to go. Jimo has called him using her repressed power. It implies that Jimo developed her abilities gradually. After listening to this, Jimo and Meng arrive at the hospital after using this monster. Jimo was delighted to see her mom. Meng realized after they arrived that this was a magical trap set by the Lady Guardian lady. It implies that Jimo has been called here by the Lady Guardian. She claims that your mother's condition is due to your magical powers. She reminds Jimo that remember when you were a kid, by using your abilities mistakenly, you had called a monster. Your mother's condition is caused by that monster. She claims that your abilities are a curse for you. Jimo gets ragged after hearing this, and she starts to destroy everything by utilizing her powers. The Lady Guardian tells her that I can still assist you. I'll drain your abilities. As a result, none of your close ones will suffer any harm. Additionally, you'll be able to live a regular life. The lady's comments have now entrapped Jimo. Jimo is now in a remote place with the Lady Guardian. On the other side, we see the monster hunter. The Lady Guardian had sent him. Meng's paper was burned by him, and it has been destroyed. Additionally, he burns Meng with his supernatural abilities. Meng's paper ashes after soaring up reach toward the man. He has a body that was half lion and half human. The paper informs the man about this, that Meng needs your help. After hearing this, the man uses his abilities and calls Meng to him. He tells him that we still have time. Jimo still possesses her skills, and she has trust in you. You'll have to save her at any cost. He creates Meng's hand after using the paper's ash. Meng feels wonderful. He manages to find Jimo by the powers of that monster. Jimo also felt that, although the lady has started her magic to grab her powers, because the gate was soon to be opened, Meng has arrived there to save Jimo. Meanwhile, the monster hunter with fire abilities arrives. He engages in combat with Meng. In order to stop him, the portal opens in the meantime, and the hunter and Meng see a crystal. Actually, this was Meng's brother's crystal that he had always desired to take. Meng had a dream to take this crystal. Whoever obtains this crystal will grow into the greatest monster hunter. That is the reason the other guardian monster hunter wants to take it as well. To get this crystal, they get into a fierce struggle with each other. This crystal is taken by the other monster hunter, but as he holds this crystal in his hands, its shine starts to fade. Meanwhile, we see Meng's hand that was made from ash. That begins to be reborn. As Meng has touched it, all of the crystal's powers were transferred into Meng's hand. He has become the most powerful monster hunter. He ends the monster hunter's life by using his abilities. He runs straight for Jimo. When he sees her, who just passed out, he is informed by the monster lady that you are late, because Jimo will vanish from this world soon. Meng informs Jimo that we have made it difficult to get here in this regard, and you cannot leave me in this way. I'll be by your side always, and I'll guard you. Jimo awakens once more after hearing this. Additionally, the gate has opened, and now Jimo has become more powerful. The supermarket monster has arrived when Jimo awakens. After using her abilities, Jimo quickly murdered the guardian lady, who wants to grab her powers. She also sends the supermarket monster into its world in addition to this. Later, Jimo and Meng become happy to see each other. Actually, they've achieved everything that they wanted to achieve. The film ends up with this.